Hi, Dodgeballers. It's Beef here. This is an extremely awkward and weird thing where I'm sitting in front of a camera and talking to you guys. But I thought this was the best opportunity to address some things that have been raised to me by the community and also give it the time to have an in-depth discussion so that everyone can, absorb this information and give us, either further conversation or questions around it at a later time. For some of you that know, the Dodgeball Sydney Showdown was over a month ago, and it was our largest gendered tournament that we had ever run. There was over 188 participants, and it's really been a great momentum for us and space to understand how to run these type of tournaments. We've taken a lot of feedback, both positive and negative, to understand how we can incorporate these in future events. The one thing that came to our highlight is our live streams. And our live streams is extremely a new part of us on upping the quality for them for all our offline audiences. And it's also our way of also marketing Dodgeball to a wider community that we necessarily would have not reached. I want to be very clear that Dodgeball Sydney missed something in that. And I think as much as the positives were out of the streams, one of the negatives that we got was around our community management. We didn't have anyone actively community managing the commentary. And at some points throughout the tournament, and particularly in our grand finals, there was some negative commentary that had put people a little off guard and uncomfortable. And I want to address some of those comments. I want to put on screen some comments so you can see and view for yourself. I'm going to address this in 3 areas. One being from the players, 2 being from the actual referees and staff and how they felt. And then 3rd is Dodgeball Sydney's stance on this. So let's start this off from the referee's point of view. Referees brought this to my attention. They felt like this comment had undermined their hard work of being a referee. A referee's job is extremely important and super difficult. Many of these referees are players and well-respected players in the community. When there are, I would say, controversial decisions being made or moments where referees need to make a decision, it is their job to get all the evidence and information that they can in that point in time to make a decision. And everybody has one point of view, which is the view that they watch from their camera or from at home or from the point of view that they're watching it from. But referees actually confide in each other, and there are 4 points of view. There is both the line refs, the main ref and the second ref, that both come in and make a decision. And sometimes that can be contentious. But these guys are doing the best that they can. You've got to give them more credit. These referees are there for the love of the sport. They are there to uphold the rules and the values of the sport. They're the guys that keep these games moving. They're the ones that are going to have to make the difficult decisions. And to really sit there and accuse our refs of not being able to do a good job, right? Of being paid off and taking a bribe is completely uncalled for and undervalues and undermines all the hard work that they do for the community. Our referees felt extremely belittled by this comment and undervalued. And as an organization, it's continually trying to build our referees to a point where they have that confidence and they can deal with this. This is part of the community that we are trying to build. We want referees to understand that they are going to make difficult decisions, but stand by your decisions because you can only make decisions with the information that you have. Dodgeball is not at a point where we have video refs. We have the technology to do things at large scale like other sporting events. We are not there yet. We are building, and in order to build, we need to build a team and people that are confident in reffing to eventually get to that space. And if you tear down those that are driving and moving Dodgeball forward in many ways that you don't believe or can see right now, it will never grow. The second part is on the players. The players themselves spend so much time and effort mentally and physically over the course of the tournament to be able to get to this level to a grand final. To completely say that they won by paying off a ref is completely absurd in the sense that it disrespects their effort and their time. People pay money to be in these tournaments. There's a level of honesty and integrity that is embedded as a core DNA of Dodgeball Sydney. And these players exemplify that. And for you to throw away that, put out a comment like that without any evidence, completely disrespects them as players. Now, for anybody that's out there in the community that feels like this, I understand that you may not have an intention of hurting someone's feelings, but those words can. And put yourself in the reverse position. Imagine you are the player that put all this effort into getting to up to this point, playing for this tournament, putting all your effort, mental and physical energy to this, and it to all to be undermined by somebody just saying, oh, they just paid off the ref to win. How would you feel? Not positive, right? Do you want to be there? Do you want to be in an environment that people can throw away these accusations without evidence? And the answer is no. And we don't, at Dodgeball Sydney as an organisation, does not condone those types of accusations unless you have evidence to back it up. And I haven't seen any. Prove me wrong. Dodgeball Sydney, at the end of the day, we want to prosper and cultivate a positive environment. I understand banter, I understand opinion, but there is a fine line between how you act within this group of online and how you act in person, because it all translates together, and how you show respect to players. By making these types of accusations and causing and fostering a negative environment or a negative conversation like this is not adding any value to the environment at all. The second thing I want to add to is this comment here. This was brought to my attention by a vast amount of people within the community. They said, what is going on with this comment? Now, I have to look at it on two perspectives. One, how people felt about that comment. And B, what is my Dodgeball Sydney stance and take on this? Like, how can I interpret this in any other way? The players that brought this to me and those members of the community that brought this to my attention said that they felt that there was racially motivated undertones in this comment. And I understand where that's coming from. With context, the person that made this comment has played in a Dodgeball Sydney tournament before, has been here, knows our business, knows our people very well. And if you understand Dodgeball Sydney as an organisation, majority of us are Asian. Now, I want to understand, and this is, although their intention was not to have any racial undertones with their comments, using North Korea as a reference, I'm trying to understand why and how it could denote anything but potentially the wrong choice of words. None of the players that they're referring to, or the referees, are Korean or from North Korea. So there's a blanket statement there that can feel that there's a bit of bias towards them. Two, even if that was not the intention, read the room. The audience that you were talking to could perceive that this is a racially motivated comment. And they felt disrespected. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I am Australian. I'm Vietnamese. I have dealt with racial slurs without intention from people before, but it does not mean that my feelings about them aren't there. I grew up with every other racial slur under the sun that came to me, and I am completely understandable how people can feel this way, and extremely passionate about not allowing this to occur in the community. To the person that made the comment, my word to you is that you need to understand how you communicate to people and the choice of words, understanding the context. And for this particular individual that made this comment, you know the context of our organization, so you need to act better. The second part is my own personal and Dodgeball Sydney stance. First of all, for me, I don't see how using North Korea in any reference has a positive light. It has negative conversations, and when you look at the context of the wider conversation, this person was driving a negative sentiment. So in turn, North Korea continues to foster that negative kind of conversation even further. And that's not something that we condone. And Dodgeball Sydney, we're an extremely, diverse group and inclusive environment and community. We want people to be able to be there, be themselves, and not feel discriminated against or any bias against them. So we completely have zero tolerance to this. Um, the other thing to be aware of is when you combine these two, the negative commentary and this, what was seen as a racially motivated slur, it creates an extremely negative environment for anyone that's new to our community. And the biggest thing for me is if you're a new player that wants to join and play dodgeball, if you see this type of commentary, are you going to join? Probably not. My answer is you're not going to want to be there because they're not good people, or they say cringy and hurtful things. Um, there is already too much hate in the world. We don't need to add to it, and we want to be in a place where people can feel inviting and be themselves, and know that they're in a safe space where they're not going to feel at all marginalized or in any shape or form feel discriminated against. At the end of the day, Dodgeball Sydney has a very clear stance. We have a zero tolerance policy against any discrimination. When these incidences occur, we want to make sure that people have an opportunity to come to us and let us address it. We are here to support you as a community. To put this out here, the person that made these comments, we have dealt with the governing body that governs them. They, at the end of the day, have been notified that they have been given an 18-month ban from Dodgeball Sydney and all its related events. And at the end of the 18 months, they will have an opportunity for us to review their possibility to come back. Dodgeball Sydney has a plethora of events that are happening, and unfortunately, this person is no longer invited. Dodgeball Sydney wants to continue to grow and foster safe spaces for all of you. And at the end of the day, we do not want anyone to feel uncomfortable or feel like they don't want to be here. We want you to be yourself and want to be in a place where you feel happy and enjoy dodgeball for what it is, the amazing sport that it is. So I sign off. I want everybody to be good to each other. As much as it's extremely cold in Sydney, hopefully all the major dodgeball events that are happening over the next few months, you all can come and enjoy and do all those things and meet key members of our community. Don't forget we have lots of things coming up, including our major throwdown tournament at the end of the year at the 14th and 15th of December. As always, my door is open. If you have any questions, please come and see me. Reach out to me, DM me. I'm always here. Hope you guys have an amazing day, and we'll chat soon. Bye.